Imagine me in a classroom at 11:30 in the morning. My hands are tapping on my desk. My feet are bouncing up and down. I'm playing with my pencil and rustling my papers. I don't even realize that I'm playing with my pencil until it hits the floor and everyone looks at me. I check the clock and count down the minutes until recess starts. And I lean back and whisper to my friend, "It's almost recess time." The teacher shoots me a stern look, and I immediately turn my head back to the problems written on the whiteboard. I can only catch bits and pieces of what my teacher is saying about dividing decimals. I am so stressed, agitated, and distracted. I can't sit for another second. I get up to sharpen my pencils, even though it's already sharp. As I head over to the sharpener, I bump into someone's desk and drop my pencil. I know that people are starting to focus on me, not the lesson, but I can't help myself. I sharpen my pencil and slowly amble back to my seat and trip on the leg of my chair and sarcastically say, "Clumsy me," out loud. Everybody starts laughing and I join in. I can feel my body start to loosen up from its previous tense form. But then, I hear the teacher calling my name in an angry tone. And I know that while everyone else plays outside, I will be staying inside for recess today. My name is Adlai Lipton, and I'm a 6th grader at Ingleside Middle School in Phoenix, Arizona. And the experience I just described to you was a regular occurrence for me in school. I would often come home complaining about my recess being taken away that day. But let me stop here and explain that for me, recess was always the highlight of my day. I didn't understand what was happening to me from a scientific perspective, but I do remember telling my parents that when I lost recess, made it harder for me to sit still and focus, therefore causing me to lose more recess. It was a vicious cycle. By Sunday evenings, I was already worried about losing my recess the next day. And I would often feel hopeless walking into school with the dread of losing recess hanging over my head like a dark cloud. Well, before my recess troubles began, I actually enjoyed going to school and I had a love for learning. And even with my recess problems, I still loved to learn, but I knew that when there was learning, there was school. And when there was school, there was losing recess. But then, in 5th grade, I listened to a Wow in the World podcast, and it explained everything. It discussed recess being good for student learning and how children need breaks in order to focus. I am here today to tell you that recess is an overlooked learning tool, and it is a vital part of the school day. It may not seem this way, but we know from life experience and scientific research that when children are running around and playing, important things are happening in their brains. Imagine all students having access to the recess they need in order to reach their full potential. Recess has been proven to promote social skills like cooperation, creativity, imagination, problem solving, and because of physical activity, recess also promotes wellness and makes children healthier. Not only does recess provide children with important social skills, it gives them the break they need to refocus and learn. And there is convincing evidence that recess can boost test scores even more than added instructional time can. In 2013, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, released a policy statement called The Crucial Role of Recess in School. They released this important statement because the AAP saw that recess was at risk throughout schools across the country. A key point that AAP made was that recess should not be withheld and that learning depends on frequent breaks. The AAP also said that recess should be in a safe environment that allows peers to interact in different ways than they can in the classroom. The AAP stated that some schools make the mistake of saying, oh, we have plenty of physical education, so I guess that means we don't need much recess. Though both PE and recess contribute to the recommended 60 minutes of activity per day, the reality is PE cannot replace the benefits of unstructured recess play. Debbie Ray is a kinesiology professor at Texas Christian University, and she's at the forefront of advocating for recess in schools. She recently studied the Finnish education system, and she found that in Finland, their students get an unstructured recess break every single hour. She believes that this is why Finland scores so high in standardized testing. And this inspired her to start a program called LINK, which stands for Let's Inspire Innovation in Kids. LINK boosts the amount of recess for elementary schools, and Debbie Ray recommends a minimum of 4 15-minute breaks per day. Some schools in Fort Worth, Texas, decided to try out LINK, and as you can imagine, many teachers were worried about giving their students 4 recess breaks in one day. But very shortly into the program, their fears had completely disappeared, and they were seeing really good results. Let me tell you about a teacher, Miss Brown, who received training from LINK. One day, there was a student misbehaving in her class, and she thought of withholding his recess from him. But then, she remembered her LINK training and let him go play, even though she didn't think he deserved to run around and have fun. So after 15 minutes of recess, the class came back in. The student was well behaved and actually apologized for his previous behavior after recess. But this really connects to me though, because in my experience, losing recess rarely helped me improve my behavior. So, you'd think all this evidence would make schools take action. They'd start providing more recess breaks, and everything would be great. Yeah, no. I actually found that in the last 2 decades, there's been a trend toward less recess. But I wanted to understand why this was happening. So therefore, I made a 24-question survey for principals across the country to gather data on recess habits. I got responses from 29 principals, and as you can see in the green slice, only one of these principals came close to the amount of recess recommended by the recess advocate, Debbie Ray. And in the red slice, nearly half had no more than 20 minutes of recess. This next graph shows principals' satisfaction with the amount of recess after school. And I decided to focus on those who had no more than 20 minutes of recess. Now, of this group of the principals, nearly 60% of them felt that they had too little recess. So I wanted to know who was making these decisions. I asked the principals to identify who determines the amount of recess after school. They could select multiple people if multiple groups were involved in the decision. As you can see on the top of this graph, that nearly 90% of the principals said that they were the ones who determined the amount of recess at their school. So what is going on here? Why are these principals who determine the amount of recess not providing more if they feel they don't have enough? I asked those who said they had too little recess to explain why they couldn't add more, and these are the responses that I received. Principals said that they could not add more recess because they had too much academic curriculum to cover, along with high expectations from the district and state regarding standards. 2 other obstacles they mentioned were scheduling issues and insufficient supervision. So it is clear, principals are not happy with the amount of recess at their schools, but there are too many obstacles in their way of adding more. So let's talk about some solutions. Well, for the academic pressures, there's evidence that recess can boost test scores more than added instructional time. And with the supervision issue, well, Playworks is an organization that builds a safe environment to allow healthy play at recess, and they can train volunteers to supervise recess as well. In addition, schools can bring programs such as Link into the school to educate the community about why recess is so important and how to build more of it into the day. And there's some good news along these lines, and that is, on April 4th, in 2018, the Senate Bill 1083, which requires 2 recess times per day for K-5 students, was passed here in Arizona. But let's not stop here. We need to fight for our recess, and we must educate everyone, parents, teachers, administrators, politicians, and kids on the importance of recess. If you're a parent, advocate for your kid and demand more recess at your child's school. If you're a principal, you have the power to determine the amount of recess at your school. Make sure that you give your students the recess they need to thrive, and you may feel resistance from the district and even parents. Educate them as well. And just think of it as an experiment and give it a try. If you're a teacher, you may not have the power to add more recess minutes in the day, but you can let your students stand up and walk around the classroom. You can even give a mini in-class recess and make sure that you build brain breaks into the lesson. But please, don't take away recess from kids. I know personally that this is not helpful, and if anything, it makes it harder for students to focus and behave. Let's go back to where we started. Remember me? That kid in the classroom bursting with energy and dying to get out to recess? I've been all my freckles that everyone listening has felt that way, where I may deal with somebody who desperately needs a break. But I want everyone to know that it is not just kids who need recess. Breaks are important for everyone, even adults. So if you are the head of the workplace, I suggest that you give your employees more frequent breaks. You can expect they will be more productive and efficient with their time. To everyone listening, imagine what you will accomplish if you schedule some recess into your day. I don't know about you, but I need a break. Let's go play.